we're doing the best we can to minimize expenses on our side where we can, taking critical looks at everything possible, hiring freezes, which is hard when you're growing too. We're going to have to work with our partners, with the county, with the state to say, hey, listen, the growth is coming. We're absorbing a lot of the growth in the state and the county. We're going to go and really start pushing funding from those outside sources, grants, wherever we can go to where it's not coming on the backs of taxpayers. It's tough right now, but I think we're up to the challenge.
Welcome to Herrimanology,
the official podcast to keep up with Herriman City.
We'll take you inside the city, explore the latest news and updates, show you how your government operates, and discuss the issues that affect us all. Now, here are your hosts talking all things Herriman on Herrimanology.
All right, welcome to Herrimanology. It is Thursday, February 22nd, and we've had a lot of rain this month, the winter entirely.
The winter.
Maybe the groundhog was right after all.
Sounds like it so far.
Yeah, I think we have some snow next Tuesday. We also have an event next Tuesday we'll get to. But we have several things to go over, so let's get to it. I'm John LaFollette, Communications Manager for Herriman City, alongside Mayor Palmer. How are you doing?
Good to be here.
Busy day for you.
Been a busy day. Halfway over about.
Go.
I love it.
Let's talk about the City Council work meeting from last night. So, not a regularly scheduled one. No voting took place, but it was a discussion about the budget. And what were some of the main points from that maybe some takeaways?
So this was really laying out. We do a 2-year budget, so we don't have to go through the budget every year. So this is really the first. We're setting the framework for how we're going to go through the budget process for the next 4 to 5 months, really. This is going to be a process. We want to dig in because it's a 2-year budget and we haven't looked at it for a couple of years. So it was really starting to analyze overall revenues, overall expenses, where things have gone. So really it was just an overview look right now. So really then laying out the framework, and we'll go department by department and break down more as we move forward.
And there were some key points that were made too that frankly, the city has a lot of expenses coming up, mostly in capital improvement projects, road projects, water, some parks, things like that. Some of them are to some extent optional.
Right.
Some of them the city is contractually obligated through a variety of master development agreements or what have you. A lot of those agreements were made a long time ago. And some of them were more recently, but that's where the city is.
Right.
And expenses are numerous in coming years.
Yes.
Is that a fair way to put it?
Yes.
And revenue projections don't always meet with what expenses are coming up.
Right.
What was that discussion about? What are some of the things the council's considering and looking at?
Well, I know everybody's going to hear that and think tax increase, right? And right now, I don't think we're considering that right now. Really, at the end of the day, we've recognized because the expenses are so a little bit out of balance, it's going to take more than we could never raise taxes enough, which none of us would want to do that.
Right.
We could never do that to cover what we need to cover. We are going to have to seek outside funding. We're going to have to work with our partners, with the county, with the state to say, hey, listen, the growth is coming. We're absorbing a lot of the growth in the state and the county. We need help. And so really that's what we're going to go really start pushing is funding from those outside sources, grants, wherever we can go to where it's not coming on the backs of taxpayers.
Yeah, Herriman is still a pretty young city in terms of years. It is a large city in terms of population, and it's all happened pretty quickly. And it's been a challenge for the city government to keep up with everything.
Right.
And the funding sometimes is there how you like it, and sometimes it's not. And it's just something the city council's had to deal with for years, and it will be for years to come.
For years to go. Everything lags. Everything we hear, there's at least a 2-year lag on residential even taxes, but yet we have to provide services day one. We're providing snowplows, we're providing all the other services, but yet we're not seeing the full tax even from a residential unit for 2 years. And even that's not truly the tax to the city is very minuscule of your property taxes. So really we've got to have outside sources to support us with that. And like I said, we're obligated to a lot of it, so we're doing the best we can to minimize expenses on our side where we can, taking critical looks at everything possible, hiring freezes, which is hard when you're growing too, because it's tough right now, but I think we're up to the challenge.
Yeah, the city's kind of already at a thin staff relative to the population size and the services that the city offers. That's just kind of the reality.
Right. Yep. And hats off to our staff for really stepping up and sticking with us because it's going to be tough.
cities, at least in Utah, are traditionally funded through sales tax largely.
Right.
There are a bazillion funding sources and a bazillion expenses.
Right.
But simply, cities often rely on sales tax, and that is really growing for the city. And there are more things that come too. We can't always announce everything. But there's some good things up on the horizon.
Good things that should help with that. And to be fair, what we talked about last night, even with these amazing things that are going to be coming, that's not even going to bridge the gap. That's still not the long-term solution to our gaps that we've got out here. So we're thrilled, we're excited. It's going to make a difference, but it'll still take some work.
And one of those businesses that opened last week, or at least they had a ribbon cutting last week, Panda Express over my side of town.
Yep. On the north side, we got one more eatery. Great ribbon cutting event with a lot of excitement around that. Everybody loves Panda. This is a new concept restaurant that they've got. So step on over. But like I said, we love to push shop local, support local. So get on over to Panda out in front of Winco and support them.
About once or twice a month, I like to go eat my weight in orange chicken. So now I don't have to go quite as far.
Right. Now you can walk and get the steps.
One thing really quickly, last week we mentioned the ice ribbon, how the last day of the season was Saturday the 24th.
Right.
And then a couple days ago it was moved to Wednesday the 29th. We wanted to kind of finish out the month. And then looking at the forecast, we have some 50, 60 degree days coming up. The last day of the ice ribbon is tomorrow, February 23rd.
Right.
So it's a popular minute. If you missed it this year, it'll be back next year. Really charming out there. And it's
such a great environment. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you missed it, sorry. We'll catch you next year.
Right.
But the last day is the 23rd. Going next week, there's an open house. Ironically, there's a big snowstorm that night, too, in the forecast.
Of course. A lot of irony right now going on.
But there's a big open house. So going back briefly to last month, there was an open house for a handful of trails up on the hillside. We're having another open house for those same trails and multiple more projects next week. So even as we, ironically, a few minutes ago, talked about how the city is kind of re-examining all of the capital projects and different projects, there are some that are coming up in the horizon.
Yeah, we're still trying to move forward where we can. Trails are huge. They're hugely popular out here. Our parks, everybody likes our parks and trails. So a lot of these are going to be fundraised for. Even our trails are going to be out there to be fundraised for. So we're trying to be creative and still moving forward with a lot of our capital projects and the exciting things.
So if you like the outdoors, which is most people,
yeah.
there are projects all over the city that are being talked about next week. On the north end of town, you have the Midas Creek Trail extension from 6,000 west to 6,400 west. You have some landscaping around the existing Hidden Oaks Trail. We have Mountain Ridge Park's Phase 1 concept. There are, I think, 3 trails up on the hillside. The next phase of the Juniper Canyon trails. There's a lot going on. If you like to be outside ever,
pay attention next week. Come by next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 6 to 7 o'clock at the City Hall.
Yep. Come by and see what it's all about. What's happening.
And with the end of winter, thanks to the groundhog, we're entering construction project season again too. Last year we published a web page for construction projects, at least major ones going on throughout the city, and we have that again this year. We also have an upcoming projects page for things like these trails that aren't imminently being constructed right now, but are coming up in the radar.
Right.
But if you go to herriman.org, you'll see information for any major project that's going on in the city, and find updates. We're always trying as a staff to keep up with the information demand.
Right.
There's a lot going on in a growing city.
So much going on.
But we're trying to keep up. All the departments are working together to try to get information to you as often and as efficiently as we can. So
And we appreciate it. You guys do a great job.
that's that. That's all for Herrimanology today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for Mayor Palmer for stopping by on a busy day.
Thanks for having me again. So I'm going to do another podcast here in Spanish. So I'm excited about that. It's with the Spanish podcast and Latino outreach podcast. So I'm going to get on there and probably blow it. So we'll see. So
it'll be great. You can tune into that. And thanks for tuning in to Herrimanology this week, and we'll catch you next time.